What's up, guys? So, I'm going to do a quick intro on this. This is all already done, and this is like the next day. I just wanted to jump in real quick. So, on the, I think it's the LGX 3.6 liter that comes in the Acadia and a bunch of other GM cars from like 2016 through the current model year. Coolant temperature sensor goes bad on it, and there's a couple videos out there talking about how you don't have to pull everything off and you can get it in there and get that engine coolant temperature sensor out with the right combination of 1/4 inch sockets. But you run the risk of cross-threading it a lot more trying to do that because it's hard to get in there and get the angle out. Don't do the shortcut. It's not worth it. I did it and I fucked it up and cross-threaded the sensor going back in and had to do a whole bunch of shit that could have really gone sideways. And I came real close to having to pull the head off to fix it. It is capable of fixing it. I don't really go in detail about it, but I show the steps I did. Pull the intake manifold off. It takes 10 minutes. I think it's maybe like a couple dozen bolts. You don't have to buy gasket. It uses O-ring seals on it. It's super easy. It's not worth the risk versus how easy that intake manifold comes off and how much better access you have to it. Ignore the YouTubes on the shortcuts on this one. Learn from my big mistake. All right, so we'll get into the video. I'll kind of go through the steps. At the end, I do cover all the tools that I use, the special tools that I use to do it. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment, and I'm usually paying attention and we'll respond. Well, was changing the coolant temperature sensor on the wife's car, and you can see a tap and die down there. So if you're doing focus, you fuck. If you're doing the coolant temperature sensor on a newer GMC Acadia or the Trailblazer, I think, or whatever it is in the Chevy or the Traverse, that's what it is. Don't try to do the shortcut and change that coolant temperature sensor without taking the intake manifold off. I thought I had that started by hand down there with like a screwdriver, but it was cross-threaded and I fucked it up. So you can fix it without pulling the head off, I think. If you're seeing this video at this point, then it is being fixed that way. Come on, keep on losing focus. Focus, you fuck. So 1/4 swivel and 8x125 tap is the thread pitch for the sensor. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, boys, so we're able to get in there with a side drill. The chuck on that is small enough on one of those side drills like that, air drill. The chuck is small enough to just barely fit past the thing here. It kind of nicks it a little bit, but then we were able to get that in there. 21/64, 1/8 MPT, and then you can order 1/8 MPT to 8x125 off of eBay, but I didn't want to wait, so I bought a 1/8 MPT plug, drilled it, and tapped it for the 1/8 1.25. Was able to do that in the car without pulling the head. So we'll see. If you guys see this, it worked, because otherwise you're going to see me pulling the head off. Either way, I'll show this, but you know, if it ends shortly, it worked. If it keeps going, we had to pull the head. Well, it's in there. I don't know if it's going to leak yet or not. Hopefully not. So MPT plug drilled and tapped to 8x125, and then drilled out the hole into the block to 1/8 MPT, and made my own adapter. We'll see if it works. I still haven't figured out the thing because the sensor actually tested good. It actually didn't even need to come out. There's going to be something wrong with the wiring someplace, I think. Yeah. It's not leaking, and mysteriously, I unplugged everything, plugged it back in. I didn't realize there was a connector down here, and plugged that in. I didn't see any corrosion on any of the plugs, but for now, the old sensor appears to be working. Let's see, it's coming up to temperature slowly but surely. I don't know, it probably will read a little bit low or slowly because of the way that's adapters in there, but I think we got it working. So did have to clearance the, I can't remember if I mentioned it in the earlier video, but or an earlier clip, is you do have to clearance the thermostat housing a little bit and a little bit on the head, just a tiny bit to get the socket to flip in there once you put the adapter on, or make adapter and put it in there. They sell that adapter, but I think it's going to be too tall and it'll be even worse. So here we go. There's the engine, and transmission's still sitting in pieces because, well, I had to deal with that this weekend. Alright, place is a mess, gotta clean it up. Later. Figured as I close it out, we just go over the tools real quick. 2164s for the 1/8 MPT tap. The 1764s for the 8x125 tap. There's the MPT tap. Use a 3/8, I think it was 3/8 or 7/16 12 point to use that to drive that in, because you can't get a tap handle in there or anything. That is the MPT plug. I bought an extra one. I drilled and tapped that for the 8mm 125, and then just threaded that into that. Here, let me see, here's the 8 125. Let me see, where is it on there? There it is. 8 125, and just a Harbor Freight tap that we put in there. And I think the real trick of this is the angle drill. The chuck on these is just a little bit smaller than any other drill that I had. I even went out and bought another one from Harbor Freight, hoping that I'd be able to get in there a little bit better with the angle and everything, but that is bigger than even this one. So, and I noticed at Harbor Freight their angle drill like this had a smaller chuck also. So that's going to be one of the key things, is you need an air drill with the smaller chuck to clear the head in the thermostat housing. That is one thing too. I think I mentioned it at the last. I did have to do a little bit of clearancing on the thermostat housing and a little bit on the head to get the socket in there over the sensor. Once I had the adapter in there, it just made it sit up a little bit too high where it wouldn't slide down over it. It wasn't much. It was barely any. It didn't take much, so I felt pretty safe and confident in that. So hopefully this helps somebody out at some point. If not, you can make fun of me, because it's 100% my fault. I fucked it up because I was trying to do the shortcut and cross-threaded that sensor in there. On the upside, everything's working now, though. Alright, cool. Later, guys.